CES 2019 rolls on here in the ASUS suite. Now they have 1, 2, 3, probably 4 different rooms worth of stuff that we got to check out. They got laptops, monitors, graphics cards. Of course, you know ASUS is basically into everything. So let's not waste any time and head right into the room over there and check out the new Matrix 2080 Ti. BPS Customs coverage of CES 2019 in Las Vegas is made possible by Be Quiet and their new line of Pure Power 11 power supplies. Partial modularity lets you choose the loadout that best fits your rig, and with options ranging from 500 to 700 watts, Be Quiet has you covered for almost any kind of system. A silence-optimized fan keeps things cool and quiet, and a 5-year warranty will give you peace of mind. Check out the link in the video description to learn more. Running in the ROG Dominus Extreme motherboard, we find the 2080 Ti Matrix. Now we're going to go take a look at the internals of what makes this card special and different from other 2080 Ti's on the market, but just from looking at it you would never know this is actually a hybrid design. So we were privileged enough to be able to crack one of these open and take a look at the layout. This does use the Strix PCB, but attached to it is something that is wholly unfamiliar to a lot of people, and that is a approximately 240 millimeter radiator. It is a little bit different in total surface area because down here, which is basically impossible to see underneath this enormous cold plate, the reservoir actually sits down underneath here, and you can actually see it right up top, right there, if my camera would focus on that. There we go. So obviously the cold plate much larger than normal. They have a demo over here of a standard like Asetek size cold plate versus the cold plate that they did design in-house for this. And it covers not only the GPU die itself, but also the memory modules, allowing them to push an 800 megahertz offset on the memory. This is going to ship with an 1815 boost clock out of the box. Should clearly run higher than that, and thermals and acoustics should be in check because most of the cooling is being handled by their custom liquid cooling delivery system and this radiator. So you guys want RTX 2060s? Well, ASUS has 3 of them. We've got the Turbo on the right, the Dual on the left, and then of course we have the Strix model. Now the Strix is going to be a bin GPU. It's going to come running out of the box a little bit faster than the other 2. The Turbo is going to be NVIDIA reference spec, but as far as exact boost clocks on the Dual and the Strix, they weren't exactly saying. So we are going to have to make some assumptions here that the Strix is going to run cooler and quieter and boost up higher, not only out of the box, but should be also a better overclocker due to that chip binning. 2 new motherboards on display at ASUS this time around, both featuring the HEDT platforms of AMD and Intel. On the right we have the Rampage 6 Extreme Omega, redesigned VRM with active cooling up top, and basically the same kind of design aesthetic as we saw on the original Rampage 6 Extreme. On the left we have the Zenith Extreme Alpha. Same kind of design language, very similar VRM cooling design, but these are basically the highest of the high-end for consumer boards that ASUS is offering. These should be shipping soon at similar MSRPs to the boards they are replacing, although I didn't have exact confirmation on that. I think we could assume that these are somewhere in the $500 or $600 range. You guys know I love thin and light laptops. I reviewed a bunch of them on the channel. I never got a chance to get my hands personally on a Zephyrus, but it is in the same vein as like the Razer Blade and the Aero 15. Well, ASUS has gone and improved their Zephyrus line. This is now a 17-inch Zephyrus S. It's got upgraded internals. It comes with a full-fat RTX 2060, RTX 2070, or a 2080 Max Q. Also, you will notice that there is no webcam up top, and that's because it comes separately. So finally, somebody has realized that a $3,000 laptop does not need to feature a 720p webcam. This, if I can open this with one hand, will clip onto the top, just like that, connect via USB, and now you have a 1080p 60 webcam instead of that crappy one that everybody always complains about. Additionally, just like prior Zephyrus models, this is going to feature 144 Hz refresh rate, up to 24 gigs of DDR4, and an 8750H Intel processor. And this is something a little unusual. This is a new laptop called the ROG Mothership, and I have Nick here who's going to help me demonstrate the functionality of this kind of unusual machine a little bit better than I could. So Nick, take it away.
Thanks, Brian. So what we're looking at here is a few years of R&D research in terms of what can we do to make a better desktop replacement. They're so big, they're so bulky, they're so heavy. We did a lot of experimenting, and we found a completely new way of cooling, and it allows us to reduce the size of a traditional desktop replacement by over 20%. So what we see here is it kind of looks like a laptop, but when you're gonna pick it up, it's got a couple feet on the bottom. When you put some pressure on it, a kickstand is going to come out. So you're going to be able to set it up, pull the keyboard down, and you have like a full gaming laptop. You can actually pull the keyboard off. It's wireless, also wired with USB-C. For gamers, really like to position their laptop differently. A lot of the times, they like to center it with their mouse, push it off to the side. If you go at home, or if you're going to bring it home, you're obviously going to want to use your mechanical keyboard that you have at home, so you can easily do that by setting that off to the side. Feature-wise is where this is really completely loaded. So we're talking about a full NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2080 GPU, a full Core i9 desktop part, 144 hertz display with 3 millisecond response time. Comes with G-Sync. It comes with a G-Sync GPU switch, so you can reboot into Optimus mode and switch between the Intel integrated GPU and the discrete NVIDIA GPU for better battery savings, if that's what you want to do before your battery runs out. It's going to come loaded with 64 gigs of RAM. And then we did something really unique with the SSDs. So we have 3 512 gig SSDs. 2 of them are connected to 8x CPU lanes from the CPU, and 1 is connected to 4x PCIe lanes from the chipset. So we have a hybrid RAID 0 that provides up to 8,700 megabytes per second, 8.7 gigabytes per second read speeds. Another thing that this design has allowed us to do is put a really burly speaker system. So we have 4 4-watt speakers in the bottom that pump out sound louder than any of our laptop type devices have before. And then if we want to look at the back here, we can just kind of see the cooling that's made possible by this design. So all this is pulling in cool air and cooling down the CPU and the GPU, and then we have really big heat fin stacks and exhausts on all the edges here. Another cool thing about this laptop, it will come with the latest Wi-Fi, the 802.11ax. Typically in laptops, they're limited by 2 antennas. This one's got 4 antennas, and we're dynamically going to choose the 2 antennas with the best reception based on how the waves are bouncing around in whatever room you're in.
And when is this come to market?
We don't have a firm date yet, but it'll be sometime in Q2 2019.
And I assume no price just yet.
No price just yet, no.
You did forget to mention the most important feature of any gaming device. Do you know what that is?
Tell me.
It's RGB. Does it have RGB?
We have got plenty of RGB. It's ORSync compatible with all our peripherals. And you can see on the back here, we have a strip on the back, and then you can actually see some of the speaker membranes in the front when the RGB.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Thank God for RGB. Thanks a lot, Nick. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
So ASUS CES 2019 is a wrap. Comment down below what you guys think of that crazy Mothership laptop over there. Thank you so much to our sponsors for sending us to Las Vegas for CES. Get subscribed to the channel if you're not already, and I will catch you in the next video. Thank you to Electronics for providing our editing systems for CES 2019. Check them out below.